That's it. A prince no more. Prince Andrew suddenly now, like you and I, chums, an ordinary common man. Or is he? And more importantly, what are they not telling us about the removal of titles? As ever, let me explain. Morning, good to see you, chums. Thank you so much for your time today as ever, and welcome one and all brand new subscribers. It is lovely to see you, and as I often say, just be kind to each other. Take a moment to relax, look around, smell the roses. Life isn't all that bad, of course, but you have to look every now and again at all the situations that are going on in the world and make your own informed decision. That's what I often think, you know what I'm saying? And by the way, I'm glad you enjoyed the beautiful pictures of the swans. What a life they have, right? Sailing up and down all day, not a care in the world, only to get their next meal. And more importantly, all of that water to themselves. There's no water bills, are there, for the swans? It's a funny thing, isn't it, also, that Prince William apparently wants to get rid of the role of the keeper of the swans. Apparently thinks it's outdated. I think it's a quite nice job, don't you? Strange thing that. Of course, when monarchy changes and people don't necessarily notice the very big difference. For instance, if you look at this picture of the two princesses, Beatrice and Eugenie, miraculously in the middle of Mayfair in the very heart of London, pictured together, just casually hugging. And then of course you look at the picture agency Splash, right? Now, how can you put this kindly? This is a complete fabricated setup. There is no way that anybody just found these two princesses wandering along the streets of Mayfair and suddenly thought, we'll just take a picture. The clarity, the fact that the girls knew they were in their vicinity, that has been set up. Now let me explain the reasons behind that. It's quite simple really. They needed a warm-hearted story to diffuse the situation. You know, the situation going on with their father, particularly on the very day that he was stripped of all of his titles. Now, as I've said, whether you like Prince Andrew or not, it's a difficult day, right? I mean, it's just a difficult day. And the bigger issue is not just the fact that it's a difficult day for him, and I'm not decrying anything that allegedly has gone on in the past or previously, but truly the bottom line for him is the fact that, well, he's now got to get used to a life of a common man. But it's not really going to be that common, you know. The only difference is that he now has a life, many suspect, that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle would enjoy. Almost a complete life of freedom. He doesn't have to curtail any sort of royal duties, turn up for anything, represent anybody. That side of it's gone. Eventually, he'll have to come to terms with very much a normal side of life. And I believe that he will be brought back in for family occasions in the fullness of time. But this picture with his daughters, Beatrice and Eugenie, this, as I say, is a complete fakery. Simply because they just want you to believe that these two girls are just like you and I, struggling. Now, as often said, what I find fascinating about Princess Eugenie in particular is the fact that she clearly is very close to Prince Harry. Nothing wrong with that, they grew up together, etc. But consequently, she hasn't had that reciprocated back. You know, clearly Harry has not reached out in public, not said a word, refuses to acknowledge any problems that she's got going on. Meanwhile, of course, if you remember, Princess Eugenie was one of the very first people to tick box the fact that Meghan had done her 40 times 40. But Meghan has never done anything to reciprocate that. Meghan didn't invite Eugenie onto her podcast, for instance. You see how this is just a one-sided affair. But now the girls are trying to work out exactly the direction of their life. I've been told that behind the scenes, what's interesting is that while they are very much concerned about their father and his own mental well-being, the mother, it appears, now just simply Sarah Ferguson, well, things aren't working out too well. I mean, as I told you, she will look around to try and make money, come up with some ideas, what she could do, what she could sell. And the daughters could be very much part of that. The imagery and the way that the media works, which of course is what I know about, they're trying to project to you this image that, you know, they're just you and I, they're simply struggling forward in a very difficult time. Now, I'm not knocking the girls, I've met them, they're very charming, they're very nice, but clearly they have stories behind those infamous pictures with the likes of Harvey Weinstein, etc. They know the bigger story. Whether, of course, they knew fully what was going on, if anything at all, allegedly, then consequently that's something that they too have now got to live with. Moving forward though, what's really angering people over here in the United Kingdom is simply this. Over in America, you've still got two people that, according to those young girls, from an excellent source, tell me they're infuriated by the double standards of treatment from His Majesty the King. And this is all really to do with where it all lands now from, of course, the former royal known as Prince Andrew. You see, when you look at it, the bigger picture is simply this. Whether you like Andrew or not, he's never written a book. He's done one interview which was detrimental to his own persona, personality, whatever you want to call it, and his own social standing. Harry and Meghan have done far worse. And according to that source, they're angry, as are many people inside the monarchy, senior members, for the fact that they believe Harry and Meghan did far more damage to the monarchy. And you see, the picture is simply this. What we found out over the last couple of weeks now, 2 weeks I think it is, of course, His Majesty the King decided that he was going to strip away Prince Andrew's official titles. And as I said, tricky times, must be hard, younger brother, etc. And as we all know, the late Queen had a very soft spot for Prince Andrew. Now, you might say, well, why did she? My belief is simply this, that by the time Andrew came along in the sphere of things, I think that she had more time and didn't necessarily, she'd worked out what the monarch needed, what the monarch should do, and whether she could take her foot off the pedal. So I believe that Edward and Andrew, in many respects, had more of the, shall we say, maternal side of Queen Elizabeth. And I'm not knocking her, I'm a huge fan. But, the job took precedence, particularly when Prince Charles was born and Princess Anne. You might say, well, Princess Anne didn't turn out badly. Well, Prince Charles didn't turn out badly. It's only Prince Andrew, some might say, that's been mollycoddled and given exactly what he wanted. The self-same thing could be said, of course, of Prince Harry. He got exactly what he wanted, created, was allowed to run riot, all the things really that William may have done, but not necessarily in the public domain. Now, here's where this is interesting, because you see, over here in the United Kingdom, and no doubt across the Commonwealth and around the world, many want to know, well, why then, if you can instantly strip away Prince Andrew's full titles and, of course, social well-being, why can't you simply do the same from Prince Harry and Meghan Markle? They've done far worse things. They've accused the monarchy of being racist. They've accused the monarchy, of course, of, wanting to use their titles and service and all the things that Meghan Markle has thrown at that particular institution that gave her everything. She wouldn't have this bit part cameo in a Hollywood film if it wasn't for the royalty. But of course, seemingly, it's one rule. Now, according to an excellent source inside the monarchy, I've been told it's simply this, that Harry has played the mental health card incredibly well. And Prince Charles is very concerned about that. You see, Harry realises that the only thing he's got left to sell, and we've seen this, haven't we, when he pops up to do the speeches, he and Meghan demand, well, not just demand, insist on being called the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. Even though they both tried to strip away the Mountbatten-Windsor name earlier this year by trying to procure the name of Spencer, because Meghan knew that that could be more sellable in the United States. The connection back to the late and beautiful and much admired Princess Diana. Harry had to go and do the bidding with Earl Spencer. I have it from excellent authority. Shut down, not interested, never going to happen. So the question really is that His Majesty the King, alongside Prince William, many now suspect, have simply dug themselves a bit of a hole, because we were always told that this would have to be an Act of Parliament and it would take ages and it would be difficult, detrimental. Well, clearly that's not true. If you can do it for one person, you can simply do it for another. And now many people are simply asking William, yes, the future king, alongside the current king, His Majesty King Charles III, well, if you've done that to your own brother, surely he has done less, because at this stage at the moment, there is nothing attached to it. And it's all very well people saying they want him to come and talk over in the US. There is no legal reason for him to do that. If he doesn't want to, they can't force it. There's no warrant for the arrest. Meanwhile, Harry and Meghan continue to be detrimental, disrespectful, as we've seen recently with Harry and Meghan both releasing things in the very midst of Prince William's big event out in Brazil. Now you might think, well, that's nothing. Look at the way that they treated the Duke of Edinburgh and the late Queen. What would it take now for His Majesty the King to galvanise himself into action and finally do, many suspect, the honourable thing and strip away the titles of the Sussexes? It is a developing story. When I know more, you'll know more. Neil Shawn, Kensington, London.